What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be answering the second question that we had from yesterday. The question is, how can I improve my repair times? Now, I talked about this a little bit in my other videos, but I want to make another one just because a lot of you guys haven't watched my old content, which if you haven't, go watch it. What are you doing, man? I have a lot of really good gold nuggets in those videos. But how do you improve your repair times? It's very simple. And a lot of you guys are going to be like, duh. But all the best truthful information is all simple, which you guys will be like, why the fuck didn't I see that? So the best way to improve your repair times is you have to have a owner's manual for the vehicle that you're working on. Okay, for us mechanics, we call that Mitchell, AllData, Identifix, any of the other platforms that we have that give you multiple vehicle information in one system that you have to subscribe to every single month, unfortunately. But if you're a shop, you have to have it. So what you do is you go on your repair manual, Mitchell, you look up the car you're working on, and you see, you type in the work that you're gonna do, timing belts, and then it'll give you a step-by-step guide on what you need to do, okay? Then what you have to do is you have to go in there and read it all, understand it, you have to have good reading comprehension, and then you go do the job. And then you're aware exactly what you're gonna do and what components are gonna have to be removed, how long it'll take, what tools to use even, everything. And then you do it. And that's how you improve your repair times. And the reason why your repair times are shit when you don't do this is because you're guessing most of the time on how to do the job. And I understand this, guys, because when you get to a certain point of your career as a mechanic, you basically don't need repair manuals anymore because you kind of already understand what needs to be done to repair the car and to remove components and put them back together and how to do all that shit. Everything else is just specifics, torque specs, fluid capacities, all that stuff is pretty much just like little details that you obviously don't know because you work on so many cars. But in the beginning, even in the end of your career, in deep into your career, I mean, I still recommend you do this because I've been in situations. I mean, now not really because like I said, I know the car so well and I know how shit's gonna go by just looking at it because I have so much experience. That I still recommend that you go and look at the steps on how to complete the job because sometimes you'll think. You'll have shortcuts, you'll think of shortcuts, but then it's actually easier to just remove a component and just be able to reach the other component. Because what ends up happening when you get into your later stages of your career, you look at a car and you're like, oh, I could just move this over a little bit and then I'll be able to reach that. And what ends up happening, that adds another 30 minutes, 45 minutes to the entire job because while you're fucking with that piece that you're pulling back, you're trying to remove the bolt. If you would have just looked at the manual, it would have told you there's one 10 millimeter bolt right here, and there's one right here to remove that entire component, an extra 5 inches that'll let you get your air ratchet in there and remove that one bolt that removes the intake. But instead, you spend 45, and then that takes another 5-10 minutes. When you went and removed that component and just pulled it off a little bit so you could put a ratcheting wrench in there and you spent 45 minutes trying to get it and then putting it back on, you're messing with it instead of just removing it and then you could reach your whole hand in there and get the bolt in. You know what I mean? So even as you're, a seasoned mechanic, I always recommend that you still look at the owner's manual just to make sure that you're not if there's an easier way to do it, you do it. And guess what, guys? The manual gives you all the easy ways. Sometimes they make everything a little bit more difficult. So, this is a balance. In the beginning of your career, follow the fucking manual. If you're later in your career, look at the manual. And if you're thinking, let me just remove this a little bit this way. If you're 10 minutes into it and you're still struggling, look at the manual again and see if it's easier just to remove the entire thing. Okay? Because shortcuts will get you in trouble. A lot of guys, that's what I'm saying. The guys that are in their careers more, they try to do shortcuts to make it quicker, but a lot of times the shortcuts makes it longer. So be really careful with that. In the beginning, repair manual. Okay? And then as you get more experience, you'll be like, oh, I don't actually have to remove that entire bracket. I could just kind of move it out of the way and then I'll be able to reach in there. Oh yeah, and it did save me some time because I did this last time and it did save me a bunch of time. You know what I'm saying? So look at the repair manual. Don't go off your gut feeling and just cut corners and shortcuts. At least look at the manual and see what they have to say. Because the manufacturer guys people always talk shit on engineers. They always talk shit. I've done it. You guys have seen me. Okay. BMW, what the fuck? Why would you put why would you put that starter underneath the intake, you dumbass? We've all done it. We've all done it. But they're actually really good as well. Because they manufacture this stuff and they know. They're like, bro, where else am I gonna put it? Do you want me to put it on top of the intake? Like what do you, like the hood won't close if I put the starter on top of the intake, bro. What are you talking about? So you gotta give these people some slack because they actually designed this stuff to make it as easy as possible to service. It is true. They actually do. And you know that to be true because they actually give you all the repair manuals to be able to do every single repair that you need to do on the vehicle. Okay, so they know what the fuck they're doing. They know, man, if I put the starter under the intake, it's gonna be pretty tough. It's gonna take about 6 hours to do, but where else am I gonna put it? You know what I'm saying? Let me just give them detailed instructions on how to fucking do it, or else they're gonna be mad at me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the engineers know what they're doing, okay? And we gotta give them some credit, because they at least give us all the information to actually repair the vehicle. So it's up to you whether or not you wanna take it. And I think you should take it, because it actually makes you faster, because they actually know everything you're gonna run into before you even run into it. So, look at the repair manual. Shortcuts only when you're in the later ends of your career, or deep into your career, you have experience at least 5 years, because by then you've seen a lot, you actually know what you're doing at that point. You don't really need the repair manual, but it's always good to reference it. In the beginning of your career, the only thing you should be doing is going on Mitchell, reading everything, seeing everything that you're gonna be doing ahead of time, then getting your tools ready, and then if you run into any issues, go back to the repair manual, to see what they're doing, do it, go back to the repair job. Okay, but once you get experience, you're not really gonna need it, but be careful with the shortcuts. Don't spend an extra hour because you didn't want to remove a component when you could have removed the component, spent like 15 minutes removing that component. It would have saved you an extra 30 minutes, 15 minutes. And 15, 20 minutes adds up, guys, especially if you're doing flat rate, especially if you have your own shop and you gotta get cars in and out. Stuff adds up, okay? That's why we have air tools. Yes, we can remove the entire, we could build a car with a simple tool set of a ratchet, set of sockets, and wrenches, and a plier. We could definitely remove every component of a car. So it'll take us days because we're slow, wrench, one bolt at a time, or you could have air tools that go, removes it in 0.2 seconds, when a wrench would have taken you 11 minutes for one bolt. You know what I'm saying? So we do all this stuff to make us faster, but a lot of times we get in trouble. So just look at the manual, see what they say. The engineers know what they're doing. Do it by the book first. Then as you get more experience, then you could kind of stray away from that. Okay? Hit the like button. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Go pick up a hat, automechanicclub.com. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you guys later.